0817 93 0002, 0817 93 0011. And in Nigeria, the enabling environment for a thriving private sector, because a thriving private sector means that jobs will be created. And I'm not talking about road construction, by the way. No. Hard for please go on.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah, this is a calling for that.
Go ahead.
Of
this when you can get responsibility comes to this class mentioned to already said. Well, the number 0893 0893 so program mission is not due to the government to create the basic enablement for sector to thrive within the age. How many things we don't. We keep a record on unemployment rates, unemployment figures, the national level, what was the national level? What this go ahead, please. A reminder, you can also link via Facebook.com/Nigerian via Twitter at Nigeria InfoPH.
Hello?
Hello, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Environment. Is the government that's supposed to grade the environment?
That's what I was saying. However, please don't feel this and you may proceed.
They've not been able to grade the environment.
Indeed. Create and will make the private sector.
So, concerning the statement that the presidential aid made about providing a living environment, of course, program like this is to maybe remind government perhaps they make them blind eyes to the insecurity that is happening, especially on our Nigerian roads, where transporting goods from one location to another, is a Herculean task, like we always say. Police, community guys mounting roadblocks and they are collecting levies from transporters.
Do you know of any particular? Do you know of any actual examples how this impacts maybe a particular business or a particular industry?
If I can list an example.
Yeah, maybe not a particular incident. What I'm asking you is, do you know how this insecurity to talk about with transporting goods, especially, are you aware of any examples and how it affects a particular business or even an industry?
Of course, when you go to the market to buy, let's say, berry, for instance, I'm not sure the market woman is lying to tell you that it's transportation. Now, it's not just paying the driver, but what the driver pays the policeman or the police officers on the road. And even some other things that they pay within the community as well. So these are the things. I'm using Gari as an example, which is basic for almost every Nigerian. If you want to narrow it down to, let's say, for instance, because I have had the opportunity of sitting with a car dealer. Clearing a car from the wharf, for instance, it's not a joke. That is why just to get to pay for a car at a start stand in Port Harcourt, the price is so high that even if you go to Lagos, you just look at maybe the difference just let's say 50 to 100K. Why? Because they'll just tell you the clearance is too much. The clearance is too much. Paying different levels here and there to clear a car from the wharf. So for me,
are you a business person? I'd like me as well. Hello.
Yeah. Why I say it's government that's supposed to create, that is government that's supposed to do it, is because let's assume that maybe I want to become a police officer, and there's no way for me to become a police officer. If government did not create the environment, will I go there and submit my CV and everything and say I want to become police officer? So that's why I'm saying that it's government that's supposed to create the enabling environment. In the 1980s, or when government need opportunity, they would not a tank crier that this opportunity is around. Everybody, if you want to work, you come, because they have created the enabling environment for the local government. So whenever if you are ready, when you go there, if you qualify, they will not take you. And you work for them, and they will pay you.
Okay, okay.
So you know why you see Boko Haram, you see bandits, you see everything.
Caller, your thoughts noted. Thank you very much for your contribution, but I really must move on. And I'm not sure that he totally... It sounds to me like he's contradicting himself. Are you talking about creating an enabling environment, or was you talking about actually creating jobs? And I was trying to interject to ask him and to get him on track, but he wasn't willing to listen, I suppose. Hello, Hard Factor, welcome. Please go on.
Hello, Dio.
Yes, go ahead.
I was in the environment I've been talking about. The enabling environment, from my understanding, about providing security for the environment to do and living in people. Then, of course, infrastructure can also be provided in light. The last time I checked in Nigeria, there is no light. So how do people do business? The last time I checked, there is insecurity almost everywhere. And these are the works of government. If you think you shouldn't provide jobs, that your own job is especially in providing the enabling environment. Who provides the job when you stop people from providing jobs? And then, for instance, now, I know really that one of the jobs of the government is to provide jobs for the people. But they refuse to provide the job, and they're shifting it now to other people, delegating that job to other people.
Provide jobs
so
how? How is government expected to provide the jobs?
Hello?
How is government to provide the jobs directly?
Of course, one of the best ways to provide jobs is like the refineries that they refuse to bring on board. Refurbish the refineries, and you see the thousands of people that will be employed there. They refuse to do it. They will only get the crude here, get it abroad, refine it, and bring it back. The thousands of persons that should have been engaged in working in the refineries are dropped.
I'm not sure thousands of people will actually work at the refineries. If you're talking about the indirect jobs created from a functional refinery, then you could talk about thousands. But I don't think you'd actually... Oh, he's gone. I don't think you'd actually have thousands working at the refinery. What would they be doing exactly? Yeah, but if we had functional refineries, no doubt a lot more persons are going to be engaged, because besides the direct jobs that will be created, maybe in the hundreds, you possibly would have thousands who would be engaged through indirect jobs created. I mean, there is a whole value chain around, a functioning refinery, especially the ones the size that we have at the moment. So, which would still be creating an enabling environment, because those indirect jobs would be the creation of the private sector mostly, I suppose. Well, I do have to go for a commercial break momentarily. I will return in a moment, however. Discussions will continue. Femi Adesina says, not government's job to provide jobs, but provide enabling environment. Are they doing that? Stick around. p.m. Discussions continue. Thanks for staying tuned. It's Hard Factor Nigeria Info and Port Harcourt, the number one talk station. I'm Dio. Let's talk. And the matter, once again, story cut to the punch. It's not the duty of government to create jobs. A special advisor to the president of the government for teams on the private sector creates the jobs. So, first, what do you make of that statement? However, as far as creating an enabling environment is concerned, which no doubt is government responsibility, how well have governments in Nigeria fared as far as creating an enabling environment as well? Because I know you probably didn't think of it. Just one thing, John.
I pay for sure right now. Attention as a beginner. Meanwhile, it's just my small allowance I managed to get. Even I hardly fit for it.
What's the nature of this business? This business you started. What kind of business? What kind of business did you start?
Okay, let me just say. Okay, I started as a pure water distributor or manufacturer with one small sealing pure sachet sealing machine.
Okay.
To start with. Then at the end of the day, no concession is being given to me as a beginner that just came out from school. The government is not providing land for us. The next thing you see, both federal, state, and local, revenue collectors. You pay for state, you pay for federal, you pay for local, and you call that a government creating an enabling.
What's the business doing now? What's the business doing now?
By the special grace of God, he's doing well.
Okay, so somehow you made it work.
Somehow I made it work.
Yeah. How long has the business been?
Not up to a year. Not up to a year.
Okay, all right.
You see every day revenue, they come, revenue, environmental, they come, this, that, they just imagine, they are not helping us. The government have not created any environment for us. Even if they are not creating jobs, just like he said, he's not in their position. But why would he even start with make such another that is not in the position of government to create employment? Well, thank God see us too for this country.
Hello, you're welcome.
Hello.
Hi, you're welcome.
Hello, Dayo.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Go ahead.
Okay. Dayo, according to Femi Adesina, government duty is not to run business, but to create an environment. Okay. Government comes in through the formulation of good policies. Are you hearing me?
Go ahead.
Okay, so good policies, and provision of security, to carry out their activities. For instance, this recent cash policy, the new cash regime, the policy included by the federal government.
What about it?
Some, harsh condition that led to the closure of some business around, Nigeria. Yeah, because it was not well formulated. You understand?
Okay.
Hello, Dayo.
So what points are you driving at? House Factory, welcome. Please go on.
Hello, Dayo.
Yes, go on, please.
Can you hear me, Dayo?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Matalayi Otaru. Definitely, government is not easy providing an enabling environment for us. Now, let me tell you, one I admitted, that was 2019, 2017, 18, then I started 2019. Now, when I came back, you know that I opened a business.
Okay.
Now, after opening the business, the environment whereby I created the business, the security there is very poor. That's one.
Okay.
And all, the government, the tax is too high. Everybody wants to take money from me. I mean, everybody. I get in the dialogue.
What was the experience with that precisely? Can you describe that in some detail? This everybody that wants to collect money from you.
Definitely, I was into check production.
You went into what?
Check production.
Check.
Chalk production.
Chalk. Okay. All right.
Yes. I was producing check. So even the machine I make use of, I have to buy fuel for it. Everything I used to buy, and every day things is very high. Okay, the day I went to the market to buy carbonate, the keke man asked to pay money before he's going to carry the carbonate from Element Junction to Element. Why? Because there was a high price of fuel. Very high. So imagine what I was paying 400 naira before. Let's pay 800, 900. And one bag, what about when I'm going to 3 or 4 bags? I see it, so they are totally wrong. Nigerian government is not helping us. They are not helping us. They are not creating the jobs, and they are not even making the food. Even good for us to make do our business.
How about the part you said where everybody wants to collect money from you? How does that happen? The taxes you were mentioning earlier.
When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about tax. Everybody, like people from the local government will come around, people from the state will come around, as in you have not even registered with them. The problem, even to register with them, the money you will pay is too high. Okay, that one is another. One of my friends, my friends of recently went to Element Junction. Follow me over there. Can you hear me, Tayo?
Yeah, go on.
So he went over there to start selling food. You know what happened? The money they told him to pay was 150,000 naira. So how is it that government is creating an enabling place for we to do our business? They are not really helping us. They are not. Nigerian government is weak in terms of all these advantages. What they are doing is, I'm not even happy. Do you know what? I have to stop those businesses because it's not helping me. I have to go into teaching.
Wow, well, it's definitely tough out there for a lot of Nigerians. But let's get you all to still 0817 923 and 0002 or 0003 or 0007 via Facebook. Penatono Barra goes down. This is interesting. Obviously, government at all levels have zero marks. It is their obligation to create the enabling environment and provision of jobs, but federal, state, and local governments have failed, including the communities. Similarly, states never put this into any consideration. Also on Facebook, Newton Akira goes, for the sake of postulation, let's agree that government has no business being in business. Her lot is to create an enabling environment. Have they done that? Heaven and earth reply, no. Providing a secure environment for businesses to thrive is one of her oversights. Has government done that? No. What about power supply? No. What about good road networks at all? No. I can go on and on. Fail. Hello, you're welcome. Please go on.
Yeah. Good evening, Mr. Bayo.
Hi, go ahead.
How are you doing?
Very well, thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is the sole responsibility of a government to create enabling environment. Then, Adesina coming to obtain that fact, then you ask yourself, what enablement are they created? Is it from energy or accessible road or security, or are they created enablement for logistics and supply? What about taxation? Importation? How have they done all this workable? I've just, in a brief sentence, defined the holistic supply and demand to you, then we should look at it critically. Which one has this administration put in place to at least 95% or let's say 80%?
Let's talk about infrastructure, for example. You talked about logistics. Let's talk infrastructure for a bit. You talk about logistics and transportation or transporting goods and all of that. At the federal level, I'm sure the federal government will argue that it's built some roads. The second Niger Bridge, for example, I think is about to be fully opened soon. Come to River State here as well. I mean, come on. You're aware the president-elect is coming tomorrow to commission yet another flyover. I mean, I think that's flyover 12 now.
Uncle, that flyover and the second Niger Bridge you're talking about, they've already been existing. If we're talking of production is from the agricultural base. What are the link roads to the rurals, to the farmlands, if there are any, that we are having? First Niger Bridge has been existing. They are just reconstructing a second one that will now act as a leverage already for the first one. These things are...
Hello?
Do you understand? Hello?
Yeah, these things are what? These things are what? 18 minutes over 5 government in Nigeria doing that.
Hello, good day.
All right, go ahead.
Based on Adesina's assertion, I don't know if these people think that we don't know anything at all. I think one of the promises they gave to us before this government came to power was that they are going to create jobs. And also, they're going to give stipends to people that doesn't have jobs. But I think it is a very big lie to say that government does not create jobs. Rather, it is an enabling environment. But I know that government have businesses they do. If government will not, in their business, will not give a great job on their businesses, then who will run their businesses?
No, there are jobs that exist. Government has ministries, government has departments, government has agencies. Obviously, individuals man those places. Those jobs exist. But you cannot keep running an economy just on from government ministries, departments, and agencies.
Now, you see, one of the challenges we have here is that government does not think about new innovation. I think some time ago I heard that Anambra State, during the past administration, exported bitter leaf, worth of some billions of dollars and things like that. Those are jobs that government will create and employ people into it.
You did say billions. Did you say billions of dollars?
Do is to create their own to augment or to support. The government created their job.
I mean, let me ask you this. Hello. Oh, he's gone. So I was going to ask him two questions. Another clarity on the earlier statement, because it sounded like he said some state government made billions of dollars from exporting bitter leaf. I was going to ask for clarity on that. Whilst I'm not aware of that situation, I'm almost certain that is not true. Maybe he meant to say millions of dollars, I don't know. But I think I heard billions of dollars. And then second, I was going to ask him, so if that's the case, if a state government has identified an opportunity in exporting bitter leaf, and there's a lot of money to be made here, say millions of dollars, possibly, to be made from exporting bitter leaf, why would the state government engage in doing that directly? Were it not better to encourage the private sector, to encourage farmers, to encourage persons to go into growing bitter leaf and ensure that they're able to grow them and process them to meet with international standards, and then government provides enabling environment, provides, I don't know, maybe ports or some dry ports or whatever it is, to make it easier to facilitate the logistics and transporting their produce over exporting bitter leaf itself. I don't know. You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Hi, go ahead.
Yeah, this is calling from your hotel.
Go on, please.
Yeah. I've been talking about enabling environment. government, it has a very long way to go. You know, if you check out in Nigeria, the Nigeria government of Nigeria, they are just kind of rounding around the corner, not creating a level environment. When we talk about creating a level environment, I think the rural areas, the communities, have a lot of things that government need to create that we bring jobs from private sector, but they are not even doing it. So how will it be that Nigeria will go in a way that people will see something to do and live life well? No life in Nigeria, no good road, no infrastructure from government that is just coming for the people to have a fair. So I think if government can look into what Femi and Adesina is talking about, it will bring private sectors, it will bring investment from other countries to come and invest from Nigeria. We have a lot of rules, we have a lot of communities. Nothing is happening over that place. So please, if government can help in all these things, at least people will live life well in this country. Thank you.
You're welcome. Got some messages here as well. My answer is capital no. Nigerian government cannot boast of creating an enabling environment. Travel from Port Harcourt to Aba, you will get the answer. If the job of government is purely to create the environment, while the creation of ministries for labour and productivity, Adesina never ceases to amuse me. No, you need that. You need a Ministry of Labour. You need a Ministry of Productivity. Well, whatever name you call it. Let's stick to the labour part of it. You need a ministry because you need labour laws. You need labour laws. You need to be able to. You need to set up policies that will guide. Because labour itself is transactionary. Labour itself is a commodity. The same way you have laws guiding the production of certain goods or services and the transaction or the sale of those goods or services, they must meet certain standards. They must conform to certain standards. In some cases, you might even have governments fixing prices as well. Same thing with labour. Labour is transactional. I can offer my services to a person in the form of labour, and the person pays me, what could be termed a wage or salary for it. So there has to be some kind of standardization of that as well. There has to be some laws. There has to be some policies to guide that job, and that even the employer can oversee to do that, which is why you would have a Ministry of Labour, for example. So Ministry of Labour is not necessarily there to create jobs. No. Not necessarily, no. Let's see. Failure comes with so many excuses that this government from inception knew they were going to fail, and so their complaints to make up for the perceived failure was discrediting the Jonathan administration. Now hear what they have to say. It's unfortunate, it's really not so measurable, Calvin. Hello, go ahead. Hello, go on. Hello, I feel ashamed. Adesina would say this, who has once tested unemployment, jumping from Cameroon to cover programs as a journalist, will turn against the unemployed today. Nigeria's a drama. That's from Monday. Good afternoon. The Elemi Onet Road, Port Harcourt to Nugu Road, Ikot Ekpene Aba Road, Calabar Ito Road, Adukpani Ogoja Road, PH Warri Road. They're not worthy of transporting goods, or is it the terrible power supply, or is it Kaduna Abuja Railroad? Are these the enabling environment the federal government is creating? That's a novel. Hello, you're welcome.
Hello, Dayo.
All right, go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead, please.
All right. The discussion now that Femi Adesina said that it's not the duty of the government to create jobs. I don't agree to that. I don't agree to that, because if you go back to the way Nigeria was being run earlier before this time, you saw that Nigerian government were having industries where they employ people like NAFCON. There was a company in the called NAFCON, National Fertilizer Company. A lot of Nigerians were working there. There's Ajekuta Steel and other things, other states like that. was created by the government, where they employed people, and people were working and earning a living. Apart from that, it is the duty of the government to create enabling environment, as you said. That is correct. But in creating, hello.
Yeah, go on.
Hello, Dio.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, all right. So in creating enabling environment, you are as well creating jobs. There is no how you can create an enabling environment without creating jobs. For instance, if you are on tar road to somewhere, people, it is human beings, members of the society that will do the job. If you want to build a factory, if you want to build a warehouse, workshop for people, it is still human beings in your country that you use in doing those jobs. So there's sole responsibility of the government, mostly, I think, to create jobs.
Really?
Whatever way they want to look at it, it is the duty of the government to improve the livelihood of the people.
Currently, can you compare the workforce in the public sector to the private sector?
Speak out.
Currently, can you compare the size of the workforce in the public sector with the size of the workforce in the private sector?
I can barely hear you, Daya.
Currently, can you compare the size of the workforce in the public sector with the size of the workforce in the private sector?
Hello.
All right. A few more messages over here. There's nothing enabling about Nigerian environment. Insecurity is at an all-time high. There is still cash scarcity. There is no power supply for people who want to create tech companies. List goes on. Sometimes I feel like some of these Nigerian politicians are detached from the realities of this country. I feel that government should start by giving new startups tax holidays and allow such businesses to stabilize before taxing them. As an entrepreneur, government isn't creating any enabling environment for businesses to thrive. Also, government is not creating an enabling environment, e.g. if there is no steady power, fuel is an issue, insecurity an issue, multiple tax collections, etc. So government is not creating any enabling environment. Oh well. Adesina seems to feel, Femi Adesina seems to feel otherwise. But I mean, it's fine for you to feel, different as well. That's totally acceptable. However, to have a commercial break coming up shortly. The news update is up at 5 o'clock, top of the hour. That's in about 5 minutes from now. After that, the discussions dovetails into a different matter entirely. Here's the story to be discussed next. 1.6 million poor households pay 10,000 naira stipend by monthly, and all of this is to mitigate the suffering among citizens. Is that happening? Is this conditional transfer mitigating the sufferings of Nigerians, in your estimation? When I return, do please stay with us.
Stay on track with Nigeria Info.
And PFN Stone Bishops.
Talking about